One of Dakota Johnson's best performances is in this heartbreaking true story. Dakota Johnson is certainly a terrific actress, but unfortunately, the work of hers that gets the most buzz isn't her best. She shot to fame with 50 Shades of Grey, and most recently, received probably the most attention of her career for her hilariously disengaged press tour for the Sony Marvel movie, Madame Web. Despite doing great work in Luca Guadagnino's transfixing erotic thriller A Bigger Splash and the intense remake of the giallo classic Suspiria, Johnson is typically linked to the bigger titles that made more of an impact with the press. It's disappointing, as Johnson doesn't just have the potential to be a queen of the art house circuit, but a mainstream movie star capable of appearing in solid commercial hits. While it sadly wasn't the breakout hit that it could have been with either audiences or awards voters, the based on a true story drama, Our Friend contains one of Johnson's best performances. The cancer dramedy subgenre has grown increasingly popular in the last few decades, and it's easy to see why. Films like The Fault in Our Stars use the disease in order to serve as a traditional teen romantic drama, and more overtly comedic fare like 50/50ths can use the terminal disease element to invoke a darker sense of humor. It's interesting to note the niche nature of these films, but they run the risk of creating a formula that doesn't apply to every specific situation. Our Friend is a painfully honest examination of disease and familial dysfunction that also features the most heartbreaking performances of Johnson's career. Based on the widely circulated Esquire article, The Friend Love is Not a Big Enough Word by Matthew Teague, Our Friend examines the relationship between a couple and their closest friend after a cancer diagnosis turns their familial relationship quite dysfunctional. Nicole Johnson is a lifelong theater performer who met her future husband, Matt Casey Affleck, at a social event arranged by her best friend, Dane Jason Segel. Dane and Nicole had always been close, and she didn't give up spending time with him once her relationship with Matt turned more serious. Once Nicole is diagnosed with ovarian cancer, Dane decides to visit her and help take care of her daughters. As the chemotherapy process grows more intense, Dane decides to become a permanent fixture in Nicole and Matt's lives, all while sacrificing his own personal happiness. Johnson makes Nicole's transition into illness utterly heartbreaking, as director Gabriela Cowperthwaite brilliantly uses flashbacks to emphasize her current worsening condition. Early segments of the film focus on the origins of Matt and Nicole's marriage, showing how equally passionate they were about their respective professions. However, their relationship suffers the same sort of strains that most marriages do. Nicole begins to feel boxed in by her job and fears that she won't be able to succeed in doing all the things that she had intended to do when she was younger. When the diagnosis eventually comes, it's a crushing blow to both her physical and mental health. Johnson makes the viewer fall in love with Nicole from the moment it begins, and as a result, the revelation of what she is dealing with is even more emotionally gut-wrenching. The gradual nature of Nicole's failing health makes Johnson's performance more effective. Johnson shows that despite the severe ramifications that chemotherapy has on her ability to perform everyday functions, Nicole still tries to be the best mother and wife that she can be. In many ways, caring for her daughters offers her a chance at normalcy that is harder to attain when she's constantly being monitored by healthcare professionals. If Johnson's press tour for Madame Web has an indication of anything, it's that she's willing to laugh at her own blunders. This is an effective character choice for Nicole, as it's somewhat distressing to see the wholesome character attempt to make light of a situation that couldn't be more serious. While the presence of a third person in a relationship drama had the potential to distract the film's focus, Our Friend never descends into a generic love triangle story. The relationship that Nicole and Dane share is quite complex. While there's always the potential or assumption that two people who spend so much time with each other will become intimate, neither character feels that a romantic relationship is worth sacrificing their friendship over. In fact, Nicole begins to become an almost maternal figure within Dane's life, offering him guidance on his next steps when he begins to get too obsessed with helping other people. This becomes quite profound because of how naturalistic Segel and Johnson are on screen together. Segel has certainly done some dramatic movies, but Johnson helps guide him in giving a more authentic performance. Johnson and Affleck impressively and realistically show